Welcome to Faith Between the Lines. I'm Scott. I want to speak directly to you today. I remember sitting at my kitchen table one morning. The house was quiet. The world still waking up. I had a cup of coffee in my hand. And for the first time in a long time, I felt the kind of companionship that didn't come from another person. It came from God, reminding me that even in the seasons where we feel overlooked, misunderstood, or forgotten, He is shaping someone or something that will walk with us in the exact way our soul needs, not to complete us, but to walk beside us as we grow. That morning I realized that sometimes God prepares us for life long before we ever realize it. This poem was born from that quiet moment, from that feeling of being held, guided, and prepared for something I couldn't see yet, and I will share that with you in a few minutes. There comes a point in healing when the sharpness of grief begins to soften, and what remains is something quieter, something deeper, memory. Not the kind that knocks the wind out of you, but the kind that sits gently in your hands, asking to be held with care. Memory is complicated. It can feel like a weight one day and a gift the next. It can bring tears in the morning and a smile in the afternoon. It can remind you of what you've lost and at the same time remind you of what you were blessed to have. And for a long time you may feel tired to avoid certain memories because they hurt too much. You may have pushed them away, afraid that remembering would pull them backward. But slowly, almost without noticing, you begin to realize that memory isn't trying to drag you into the past. It's trying to walk you into the future. Because memory is not the enemy of healing. Memory is a compassion of love. And as you move forward, you begin to understand something sacred. You don't have to leave the person you lost behind in order to keep living. You don't have to forget them to grow. And you don't have to silence their story to write your own. This is the beginning of carrying the memory forward. Not as a burden, but as a blessing. Not as something that holds you down, but as something that walks beside you, shaping who you are becoming. In the early days of grief, memory can feel like a storm. Sudden, overwhelming, and unpredictable. A song, a scent, a place, a photograph even. Any of it can pull you under without a warning. And for a while it feels safe just to avoid those reminders, to keep your distance from anything that might reopen the wound. But as time moves slowly and gently, something begins to shift. The memories don't disappear. They don't lose their meaning. But they become and start to change shape. A memory that once brought tears might now bring soft ache instead of a sharp one. A moment that once felt unbearable might feel a little bittersweet. A story you couldn't tell without breaking might now bring a small smile before the sadness comes. This is not forgetting, this is healing. Memory becomes less like a wave crashing over you and more like a tide. Still moving, still powerful, but no longer knocking you off your feet. It becomes something you can stand in, something you can breathe through, something you can hold on to without falling apart. And slowly you begin to understand that memory isn't trying to hurt you. It's trying to stay with you. Because love doesn't vanish when someone is gone. It settles into your life in new ways. In the choices you made, in the values you carry, in the quiet moments when you feel their presence, even if you can't explain why. The memory becomes a bridge, not to the past, but to the love that shaped you, the love that still shapes you, and a love that continues to live in you. And when you begin to see the memory this way, not as a trap, but as a companion, something inside you softens. You realize you don't have to run from the memories anymore. You can walk with them, you can let them guide you, and you can let them remind you that what you had was real, and what you carry now is sacred. There comes a moment in healing when you begin to realize that carrying someone's memory forward isn't about holding on to the pain. It's about holding on to the love. It's about letting their life continue to shape yours, not through sorrow, but through meaning. For a long time, you may have felt torn between two worlds. The worlds where they were still, and the world that you are trying now to live in. You may have wondered how to honor them without getting stuck, or how to move forward without feeling like you're leaving them behind. That tension is real, and that tension is tender. And it's something almost everyone who grieves eventually is going to face. But you know what? Here's the truth. You don't honor someone by staying frozen. You honor them by living. You honor them by carrying the lessons they taught you, by embodying the love they gave you, by letting their kindness, their humor, and their strength, and their spirit become part of the way that you move through the world. Doesn't mean that you can't love again. Their story doesn't end because their life did. Their story continues in you. And every time you show compassion the way they did, every time you laugh at something they would have loved, every time you make a choice shaped by the wisdom they left behind, you are carrying them forward. You don't have to do it perfectly, and you don't have to do it loudly. You don't have to do it in ways anyone can even understand. Carrying a memory forward is a quiet, personal act. It's the way you speak their name when no one else is around. It's the way you feel them in certain moments, not as a ghost, but as a presence. It's the way their love still guides you, and even now. And as you learn to carry their memory forward, something else begins to happen. You start to reclaim yourself. It's not the version that existed before the loss. That person is gone, changed by love and grief and everything in between. But a new version of you, shaped by what you've lived through and by the love that still lives inside you. You don't lose yourself by remembering them. You find yourself by carrying them with you. There is a spiritual truth woven through every season of grief, every moment of healing, and every memory that rises to the surface. Love doesn't end. Not with distance, not with time, not even with death. Love is not bound by the limits of the heartbeat or the length of a lifetime. It is something eternal, something that stretches far beyond what your eyes can see. The body may be gone, the voice may be silent, the familiar routines may have faded into the past, but the love itself remains. It becomes something quieter, something deeper, something that moves through your life in ways that you can't explain, but always feel. It becomes a presence that doesn't demand attention, but offers comfort. A presence that doesn't shout, but steadies. A presence that doesn't fade, but transforms. Sometimes it shows up as a warmth in your chest when you think of them. Sometimes it's a sudden calm in a moment of fear. Sometimes it's a whisper or strength when you feel like you're falling apart. And sometimes it's just simply the sense that you are not walking alone. This is not your imagination, and it's sure not wishful thinking. This is the way love continues. You know, and God has a way of holding both the memory and the future at the same time. Gently, patiently, without asking you to choose between them. God doesn't ask you to forget. God doesn't ask you to move on. God simply invites you to move forward, carrying that love with you, letting it shape you and letting it guide you. And in that sacred space, memory becomes more than remembrance. It becomes communion. It becomes connection. It becomes a quiet assurance that what you shared was real and what you carry now is holy. There will be moments when you feel their presence in ways you can't explain. A sudden peace, a familiar thought, a sense of being watched over. You don't have to justify these moments. You don't have to prove them. You only have to receive them. Because love doesn't disappear. It changes form. And as you continue to heal, you begin to understand something profound. The person you lost is not behind you. They are within you. In your compassion, in your strength, in your choices, in the way you love others, in the way you rise after falling, in the way you keep going even when it's hard. Their love has become part of your soul's fabric, woven into who you are and who you are becoming. This is the spiritual truth at the heart of the memory. Love continues, love transforms, and love remains. And love walks with you into every new chapter. I would like to share a poem with you that I mentioned at the beginning of this episode. The name of that poem I wrote that morning is called What Love Leaves Behind. I thought the years would dim your light, that time would make you fade. But love has ways of staying close in every step I've made. You're in the quiet morning air, the calm before I rise. You're in the strength I didn't know was living in my eyes. You're in the way I chose to care, the kindness that I give. You're in the gentle faith I hold that teaches me to live. And though your voice is silent now, your love still speaks in mine, a steady glow that guides my path in ways I can't define. So as I walk the road ahead, I carry what was true. The part of me that grief can't touch was the love I learned from you. After I wrote that poem, the second time I read it, I cried. It wasn't because I felt the loss. It was because I felt so fortunate of having to love and be loved, and the faith in knowing that one day there will be a reunion. You know, when I write, I mean what I write, and I write what I mean in my poems and in my podcasts. And as you continue on this path, the sacred personal path, I want to leave you with a truth that is both tender and powerful. You are allowed to carry the memory of the one that you lost into every tomorrow. You are allowed to let that love shape you, steady you, and walk with you. You are allowed to grow, to change, to heal, without losing the connection that still lives inside you. There is no finish line to grief. There is no moment when you suddenly say, I'm moving on. There is only movement, slow, honest, human movement, guided by the love that remains in you. And that love is not fragile. It's not easily broken. It's not diminished by time or distance. It is woven into your spirit, into your choices, and into the way you show up in the world. It is part of your becoming. As you step forward, you may feel moments of guilt, moments of a hesitation, moments when you wonder if healing means forgetting. But healing is not forgetting. Healing is honoring. Healing is carrying that memory forward in a way that brings life, not weight. Healing is letting love continue its work in you. And God, patient, gentle, steady God, walks with you in this. God holds the memory with you. God holds the future for you. God holds the space where both can exist without conflict. So as you move forward into the days ahead, may you feel the presence of the one you lost, not as a shadow behind you, but as a light within you. A light that warms your steps, a light that softens your fears, and a light that reminds you that love is never wasted, never lost, and never gone. May you feel peace in the memories that rise. May you feel strength in the love that remains. And may you feel God's hand guiding you gently toward what's coming next. And may you begin to sense, even if only faintly, that you are being prepared for a new chapter. Not a chapter that replaces what was, but a chapter that grows from it. A chapter that is shaped by love, strengthened by memory, and guided by the quiet courage that He carries you this far. This is not the end of the story. This is the place where memory becomes meaning, where love becomes direction, where your heart begins to open to the possibilities of becoming someone new. And when you're ready, in your own time, in your own way, the next chapter will meet you with grace. Before we close today, I want to speak directly to you for a moment. There was something in today's message, or maybe in that line from the poem that touched a place in you today. Hold on to that. That's God meeting you right where you are. And before I go, remember this. Your presence matters here. You being here changes this space. Thank you for listening to me on Faith Between the Lines. I hope I met you right where you are. And remember, you are never walking this road alone.